Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper. Flow dapper, here's another chapter. Ride through, attack you, ride away your laughter. This is what I'm after, blowing on that rapper. Purple keep a bunch to blow. I don't serve it though, murder flow. If it goes down, I'm the first to know. Y'all niggas late, like the Conan show. Overdose, overload, sharp flow, leaving with the open throat. Louis Keys, cool as Nova Scotia snow. Puff a blunt, poke a hole, nigga, you supposed to know. Louis Keys, blowing blunts on the open road. Fuck a cop, fuck a speed limit, drive overdose. Keep a bad bitch, hips wide like Oprah's nose. And you know that I'm a fool, my freestyle's wet, I'm floating in the pool. You should pay your tuition, you're going to my school. Principal keys, you niggas getting held back. Fuck them little sacks, you can have your bread back. No refund, well here the G's come. Hit your ass up, leave you with your fucking head crack.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky.
What up, everybody? What's good? What's cracking? What's popping, man? Stopping back through. Just to holler at everybody, man. And give a little bit of Pacquiao news, man. A lot going on right now surrounding this potential fight with Crawford or, Mikey. Maybe even potentially a surprise fight in there somewhere that we're not hearing about yet. So, just wanted to stop in, see what everybody's up to, and give the latest on Manny Pacquiao's next fight. Let's test out the audio. My audio ain't working. Alright, there it goes. So we good. Alright, so man, a lot going on right now, man. So, surrounding these negotiations and people feeling like this Mikey Garcia fight is set in stone and that the Terence Crawford fight has completely fell apart. And I feel like, it's a lot of fictional boxing talk going on right now. And I like to base everything off of facts, man. What's the real news? What's really going on in the world of Manny Pacquiao? What's really going on surrounding the negotiations and surrounding his next fight, man? Because I think a lot of people are antsy, me myself included. I think a lot of people are sick of waiting. A lot of people just want to know what direction he's going in, and it's hard to have to sit through all of this speculatory talk, man, when it comes to the Ryan Garcias of the world and the Conor McGregors and the Mikey Garcias of the world and all these, second tier fights that Pacquiao was looking at to try to score a big payday, I think, at one time. But, the world is completely different now than what it was. And everybody who heard about those fights before are kind of like leaning on them now because they don't feel like he's going to get that Crawford fight. They feel like he's commanding too much money. He needs to get out the way. And, just a bunch of stuff. But me personally, I feel like he's truly going for legacy, and we're going to get a legacy fight out of Manny Pacquiao next. I hope and that he sticks to his word, man. He gave us a promise as boxing fans and Pacquiao fans that he would do something for his legacy. And to me, the Mikey Garcia's fight does nothing for his legacy. But if that's the direction he decides to go in, as a Pacquiao fan, I can't do nothing but accept it and move on. I'll stream the fight. I won't pay for it. But I definitely will support Manny Pacquiao as a Pacquiao fan. We got a comment. Let's see. Everybody drop me a comment, man. Pacquiao that like button, man, so we can get shared out to more people. We got like 5 people in here right now. let me see what this comment. Von Dying says, "Sup, Red? Glad that Manny PED idiot is not here at the moment." I don't know why they held your comment. They held your comment for some reason, but you know, I can see it. You know, he'll probably be in here at some point. I ain't gonna stay on her too long today, man. But I did want to tap in, see what everybody was up to, and just give a little bit of news for the day. All right, man. So a lot of articles out here right now, and in the YouTube boxing world, you know, a lot of this stuff that we heard is definitely not based on fact. It's all based on what's the popular search term and what will get the most clicks. So at the moment, what's getting the most clicks is, you know, people feeling like Manny Pacquiao is sidestepping that Terence Crawford fight and is going after this Mikey Garcia fight. And a lot of headlines at the moment read, you know, like Manny Pacquiao next fight, Mikey Garcia the favorite, Crawford still in the mix. Or you might get one that says something like Pacquiao Garcia blockbuster fight looms. The Molina Times, you know, you might hear something like that. Manny Pacquiao interested in Mikey Garcia fight rather than Terence Crawford. These are eye-catching headlines. You know, these are what people will click on. It doesn't always make it true. It just makes it clickable. And it gets you a lot of views if you title your videos to what people will click on, man. Me personally, I'm at the point to where I just want to give boxing news, man. I don't want to have to trick people into clicking on the video, and then I ain't really even giving you what's actually going on. Because to be 100% honest, none of these people are aligned with Adi Itar. None of these people are aligned with Paradigm. None of these people are in MP Promotions. They might have, you know, connections to these people, but here's the thing that a lot of boxing fans don't think about, man. When it comes to negotiating fights and drawing up contracts, these are private contracts, you know, and the public are not privy to this information until the contracts are officially signed and both parties release the details of contracts. So I know 100% that what people are saying is not true, based off the fact that Mikey Garcia said that everything would have been signed, sealed, and delivered by last Friday. And here we are a whole week later, and we're still just saying that this fight is coming to fruition. It's not yet set in stone. Neither side has come out and given terms or shown a contract. So anybody who's saying this fight is set in stone, or even the Terence Crawford fight is set in stone, they basically lying to you for views, man. And, you know, do what you do. If that's how you get your views, do that. But I ain't about to do that. I'm going to tell you what's really going on. And basically what's going on is Bob Arum, like I said in the last stream, and Top Rank Crawford, they've all agreed to the terms that Manny Pacquiao put out there as far as the $50 million and the investors in the Middle East. They've all agreed to those terms. The problem now is the venue. They had a venue set. They ended up having some problems with an outbreak, and they can't agree on the venue yet. So they can't set the fight in stone. Now this is where the whole Mikey Garcia talk came in, because Pacquiao does have to have a backup plan. He can't go bees to the wall for a May date set in stone with Terence Crawford, and then you end up with no venue because they want to do it in the Middle East. So he had to come up with a backup plan. Mikey Garcia's the backup plan, and you know, Mikey Garcia's running with this. You know, he's getting his name out there because he hasn't fought in over a year himself, and he needs the publicity. You know, this is all good for publicity. Does that mean that the Mikey Garcia fight's not happening? No, it don't. It just means that the negotiations are ongoing. Now, here's what people are missing. It might not just be Mikey Garcia and Terence Crawford in negotiation with Pacquiao. Those just might be the guys willing to come out and talk about it. Because, like I said, Terence Crawford needs the publicity. Hey, and Mikey Garcia needs the publicity. The other people he might be negotiating with might not want the publicity yet until the fight is set in stone, because it'll make them look foolish to come out and brag about a fight that simply didn't happen. So I feel like that's where we're at the moment, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it just is what it is, man. It's ridiculous, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to go down that path. I really don't even want to talk about Mikey Garcia, but it's necessary to talk about Mikey Garcia because they are in negotiation. Whether I like the fight or not, they are in negotiation. There's a possibility it could happen. And I feel like if that fight does happen, it's a tune-up fight. Like everybody says, yeah, it's a tune-up fight. Yeah, it's just a fill-up fight because he couldn't make the Crawford fight. It's not because that's the fight that he wanted to make. It's not because he's scared of Crawford or scared of Terence Earl Spence Jr. or Udanius, you guys. It's because it's a sign of the times. That's the fight that can get made. Mikey Garcia's ready. He'll probably accept $1 or $2 million to fight Manny Pacquiao. But you know, there was a big conversation going on the WhatsApp with one of the contributors to the channel. And Caps and Full G, they had a really long conversation. I was doing some other stuff, so I didn't really get involved in the conversation. But if you guys want to, you know, have some good sideline boxing talk, man, go hop on that WhatsApp, and you know, there's some great conversations going on over there. I don't always get involved in the conversation because I don't want to always have everybody just going off my opinion. I want to hear everybody else's opinion, so I sideline myself from the conversation sometimes just to hear what everybody else is thinking. So, you know, he was saying basically that talking about the dynamic about the money and everything, and whether Crawford and Spence or Garcia, you know, if this actually going to happen, you know, if Garcia does happen, you know, I just feel like I said earlier, it's because of the tune-up situation and sign of the times. Now, like I said, they were talking about the money. Now, here's what's interesting. There's something going on surrounding the negotiations that they were talking about, that it's a 50-50, that it could either be Crawford or Garcia, who potentially gets that $10 million, which would really, like I said in the last one, kind of pee me off a little bit, because if he pays Mikey Garcia $10 million to fight him, I don't understand why he couldn't have paid Udanius, you guys, or maybe you guys doesn't want to fight, or Earl Spence $10 million to fight him. You know, it just really doesn't make sense how Mikey Garcia would come out of nowhere and get a $10 million purse for a Pacquiao fight. It just is mind-boggling. But if those investors are willing to accept Mikey Garcia as a second place, like I said earlier, as a Pacquiao fan, I can't do nothing but accept it, man. I can't do nothing but accept it and watch the fight, and hopefully he wins. Hopefully he don't get embarrassed by getting beat by Taco Garcia, and hopefully the next fight will be the legacy fight that we all want. You know, I don't think the fight's gonna sell well if it's Mikey. I don't think the venue's gonna do well if it's Mikey. Hey, I could be wrong, but these are my personal opinion. I definitely don't see it selling well, but if they do it in the Middle East, I really don't see the venue selling well either, because really nobody over in the Middle East knows Mikey Garcia. But if they take it to Texas, if they somehow get the investors to take the fight to Texas, they could get a pretty good venue out of it. They can get, you know, maybe because everything's opening back up and the stimulus money is about to start hitting, they might do a couple of thousand in venue, you know, 20, maybe 30,000 in venue, which is pretty good, coming off a situation like what we've had with this pandemic. But I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I see a lot of people hating on this fight. A lot of people disappointed in Pacquiao. Me personally, I'm disappointed, but as a fan, you just kind of got to accept stuff sometimes. G-Box, what's up, man? What's good with you? Bond Q, Salute Red, what's good, man? Alvin Vincent, you sound low. Volume, I have to use my computer speaker so that I can hear your voice, man. You got to try to turn it up a little bit, because if I cut it up too much, it's gonna really be out of whack. So Sorry about that, man, but gotta work with what we got. How do you feel about Ortiz versus Hooker fight? Crawford would embarrass Garcia. If Crawford and Garcia fought, I think it would be similar to what you saw Earl Spence do to him. Except it might be a little quicker because Earl Spence is not a speedy style fighter, and Terence Crawford is a speedy style fighter. So I think you would see Terence Crawford jump on him a little bit earlier than Earl Spence did, and he might knock him out, to where Earl Spence couldn't knock him out because he doesn't really jump on fighters. He's a little more technical and a little more of a set puncher. Like, he likes to sit down on his punches. Unless he has you hurt already, then he might jump on you. Byron Q says, Crawford all the way, fam. Crawford, the A side. Red, the A side. As far as Crawford, are you talking about the Manny Pacquiao fight? He's the A side, or Mikey Garcia? He's definitely the A side if he fights. Oh, that might be why. He's definitely the A side if he fights Mikey Garcia, but if he fights Manny Pacquiao, he doesn't sell the fight, so he can't be A side. Manny Pacquiao sells the fight, so he would be the A side. In my opinion, Alvarez, do you read the news today? Keith Thurman answered Teddy Atlas accusation Manny uses performance-enhancing drugs. I don't get into that whole, I saw what he said about Manny Pacquiao's hands being like stones when they hit him. A lot of people say that, when they get in the ring. When they're outside of the ring and they're hyping up the fight, it's all fun and games and jokes and calling Manny Pacquiao all type of names until he hits you in the face. And then you realize this guy's the real deal. And I think Keith Thurman was feeling himself. He got in the ring with Pacquiao, and Pacquiao proved that he's the real deal. And the only way he could defend himself from that loss now, similar to what other guys have done, is to say, hey, well, he's on steroids. Which is a stupid conversation, because if Manny Pacquiao's been taking steroids this whole time, he would have gotten caught so long ago. It's ridiculous. Who can take steroids for 20 years and not get caught? Like, seriously, man. The whole conversation is completely ignorant, man. And I don't even like talking about it because I'm not going down the ignorant path with people, man. I don't see why people want to go down that road of talking some nonsense. It's not completely nonsensical. This man's been fighting for over 20 years. How in 20 years do you not get caught for taking steroids? How long after what's his name, Sammy Sosa and them, Mark McGuire and them, that was knocking all them home runs, and how long did it take for them to get caught that they were using steroids? It took less than 5 years after they set all those records for those guys to get caught. So how in boxing do you think Pacquiao gets away with using steroids for 20 plus years? It don't even sound right, and it sounds so ignorant that I hate even talking about it. And when people bring it up, it's almost laughable to me. It's such a stupid conversation that I don't even want to have it. I'm kind of going to leave it there. You explain to me, if you can explain to me how Mark McGuire and all these other guys got caught using steroids less than 5 years after they set records, and somehow Manny Pacquiao gets away with using steroids for 20 plus years. Make that make sense, and I'll believe what you're saying. Other than that, if you ask me that question again, I might start deleting questions when people ask me about steroids, because I've already told you I don't even want to talk about that garbage, man. It's garbage. It's garbage talk. The closest person in the past 10 years to get caught using steroids, other than the whole minimal Heredia situation, was Floyd Mayweather, and he didn't get caught. And so why would I sit up here and accuse Mayweather of using steroids because he got caught with an IV? But he hasn't lost any victories. He hasn't been stripped of anything. No one sanctioned him. So why would I sit up here and keep accusing this man of steroids when nothing happened? Yeah, he got caught with the IV or whatever, but he didn't get sanctioned. None of the commission sanctioned him. He didn't lose no money. They didn't take any of his victories away. They haven't taken any of Pacquiao's victories away. They haven't sanctioned him ever. They haven't. They're not trying to bar him from the sport. These guys still want to fight him, even though everybody says he's on steroids. Everybody still wants to fight him. So it doesn't even make any sense. So that's the last time I'm talking about steroids involving any boxer until y'all can show me some proof. Show me the proof. Explain your proof, and then I will run with your accusations. Other than that, hey man, who cares at the end of the day? Who cares what you talking about? Who cares what the press is talking about? Show me some facts, and then I'll believe you. Alright, Thurman has no horn. He a disgrace to boxing. You know what? I like Thurman, man. I think Thurman's an excellent fighter. He just met the wrong fighter at the right time for Pacquiao. I keep telling y'all, Pacquiao and Captain Full G said something about this earlier in the whole little WhatsApp conversation. He's just better than this generation. Let's just be completely honest for a second. Manny Pacquiao is pretty much better than everybody in this boxing generation. These guys refuse to fight each other. They refuse to put on legendary fights. Pacquiao's been through every war, every type of style, every type of boxer you can put in front of him. So when you set these new guys in front of him, it's nothing new to them. But the only thing that's new in that ring is these guys have never faced off with a fighter similar to Manny Pacquiao. And it overwhelms most of them. They feel his power. They're shocked that somebody so small could have such power. But if you look at his legs, you'll know where the power's coming from. And the fact that the man has ridiculous amounts of stamina and speed. When you put all that together, it's a recipe for disaster of these guys in the new generation. These guys, they don't have the skill sets that the last generation of fighters had because they refuse to face up with each other and test their actual boxing skills. So if y'all want to keep it real with yourself, you would just say that, man. You would just say this generation hasn't tested and proven themselves like the last generation did. And when they get into the ring with a guy who's proven himself at welterweight and throughout the paradigm of boxing, they get simply overwhelmed by this guy. And he's just too much for him. The same way Bob Arum said he preferred putting Crawford in there with Pacquiao because Pacquiao is just too much. These guys have no idea what they're getting into the ring with until they get in there and Pacquiao lands that punch, and then they're surprised, or they're hitting the canvas, or they're surprised and their face is all bruised up because they wasn't expecting the guy to deliver the type of power he actually possessed. And it just says, like Cap said, it says something about this generation. It says something about the fact these guys don't want to test themselves. It says something about the abilities of Manny Pacquiao, and he's just better than a lot of these guys. Point blank and period. He's just better. He's been tested. He's more proven than a lot of these guys. And if you don't, in the new generation, if you don't want to accept that, it shows what type of boxing fan you are, man. I'm not gonna sit up and say, well, you don't know anything about boxing, because you might know about boxing, but you don't understand the difference between a very skilled fighter versus a talented fighter. You know, Manny Pacquiao is extremely highly skilled in the boxing ring, and a lot of these guys are just talented, and that talent is unproven because they refuse to fight the other great talents in boxing. But here's the thing. I give Keith Thurman a lot of leeway because he actually did go test himself against the better opponent. And when he tested himself against the better opponent, he got upset. He got knocked down. He got beat up. He lost the fight. And now 2 years later, when he hasn't even gotten back into a ring to prove himself again, now he wants to come out and say somebody's on steroids. Oh boy. It's kind of foolish. But you see, this is why the new generation is horrible. This is why the new generation of fighters are the way they are. This is why they get beat by a 40-year-old Pacquiao. It's because these guys refuse to just get better. They refuse to get better, and they're like Mayweather. Unlike Mayweather, who could fabricate victories, they can't fabricate a victory. They're not Floyd Mayweather. They can't just put together a fight where they're gonna win. And because of that, them guys will come out and say whatever they got to say to defend their careers and the fact that they lost to a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao. It's completely ridiculous, but it shows a lot about the sport of boxing, the state of boxing, and these young boxers and their refusal to test themselves, their refusal to put themselves up against the best other guys out there. Like I said, I give Keith Thurman all the credit in the world because he did test himself. He just lost, man. You lost. Accept a loss. That's another thing that these young fighters can't do. They can't accept a loss. That's the Mayweather effect on boxing, is that these people, they don't want to, they can't accept defeat. Like, what's so bad about losing? Everybody's lost. Michael Jordan had numerous losses in his career. It didn't stop him from being the best basketball player ever. And even with Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Paul George, countless names, countless superstars in basketball, but they still haven't surpassed Michael Jordan. And the fact that he lost, nobody even thinks about the losses. It's all about those victories, those ridiculous victories that he got. Similar to Manny Pacquiao. Nobody cares about, as fans, real fans of boxing and real fans of Pacquiao don't care about those losses because you watch the spectacular victories. You watched him do something nobody else has done. You watched him go through 8 different divisions. You watched him win all these championships. You watched him knock bigger guys to the floor. You watched him beat the ish out of people. And this is the messed up part about boxing and sports in general, is that these young people, can't accept a loss. Sometimes you gotta lose to learn how to win better. Sometimes you can win, and you can win a certain way. Eventually, somebody's gonna figure out how to beat you, and the only way to win in a different way is to sometimes take a loss, so you can figure out how to win in a different way. And I think it's gonna help Keith Thurman whenever he gets back in the ring. That whole loss will help him moving forward, because there'll be things similar to Pacquiao. When he took that loss to Marquez, there are things that he stopped doing. And I think that there are things that Keith Thurman does because of the Pacquiao loss, he will stop doing once he gets back into a boxing ring. If we ever see him get back into a boxing ring, we might not ever see Keith Thurman fight again. What about that thought? What if Pacquiao was his final fight? What if he actually retired Keith Thurman? What if he never steps back into a boxing ring? What would people think of Pacquiao then? He retired another fighter. You might as well say Keith Thurman's retired. He just ain't announced it. He ain't been in a boxing ring in 2 years. So, sorry for the rant, but it is what it is, man. That whole argument is ridiculous. GT, should Pacquiao retire if he is unable to fight Terence Crawford or Earl Spence this year? I think he can still make history by getting that belt back from Yadanius, you guys. Will he actually try to fight you guys? I don't know, but I don't understand why he wouldn't, when you stand to gain more from the you guys fight than you do from the Mikey Garcia fight. I don't think he should retire until he's ready. It shouldn't be up to fans to tell him. It shouldn't be up to boxing commentators to say he needs to move aside. It should be up to Manny Pacquiao to say, I'm done with this sport. I can't do anymore. I've done it all. I'm moving on. It's not up to us to say it. Just like it's not up to me. I could be upset that if he doesn't fight Crawford next and he fights Mikey Garcia, but it's not up to me to make Manny Pacquiao's fights. Has one of the biggest knuckles in boxing, if not the biggest right now. Who are you talking about? Pacquiao? I haven't really examined his knuckles, so I don't know too much about that one. I never say Thurman accused Manny of performance-enhancing drugs. I say Thurman answered the question, but there's accusations. He's implying by saying some of that stuff that Pacquiao was on drugs. I'm not saying you, but you know that's what people do. They'll put something out there like his hands felt like stones, so they're kind of implying that he might be on steroids. I ain't saying that you were saying it, but I'm just saying the whole conversation is based out of some steroid talk, and I don't want to get into that. If anything, Thurman was the one cheating and still got his A beat. Barbecue, Pernell Whitaker would have beat Tank. Everybody wants Crawford, Manny win or lose. This is good. This is a good fight. It's a great fight, man. I don't understand why he even... Listen, I understand why he's entertaining the Mikey Garcia fight. I just don't get, I don't get why these other boxing channels are running with this so much. I kind of get it, but it's ultimately like a lot of these people don't really like Manny Pacquiao, to be honest, man. They don't. And as soon as something that they can talk about that discredits him or makes him look bad, they just run with it, and I ain't doing that, man. I don't get on the internet simply for views. I started this channel to connect with other Pacquiao fans and other good boxing fans who are like-minded. I didn't get on here to lie about stuff or mislead people for views. I don't need YouTube money. I don't, and YouTube money ain't that good anyway. To be completely honest with you, man, I was getting, thousands of views at one point. And these people were nickel and diming me, man. And it's almost ridiculous for people to think everybody wants to get on her and just, ramble and cuss and, rant and rave about boxing or lie or clickbait everybody for a couple of pennies off a commercial. Like, it's ridiculous, man. I don't want to do that, man. I just want to talk about real boxing talk. I don't want to get into the ridiculous part about boxing talk, man. A lot of these channels do it. It's entertaining to some people. It's not entertaining to me. This stuff don't entertain me. I don't even get on here to really entertain you. I get on here to have a conversation with people. Once it starts to get irritating and annoying, then I'll walk away for a few days. Like, man, I don't need to deal with this right now. I don't need this headache, So, when people want to come on and they want to play or they want to talk about ridiculous stuff and they want to bring up steroids and accuse people, this ain't the conspiracy channel. Don't bring that stuff over here. If you want to talk boxing, for real boxing, and what's going on in the boxing news, you can come over here and we can have a convo. But don't come over here and try to play no silly little game with me, because I ain't going for it, bro. For real talk, I ain't even going for it no more. Alright, man. Alright, Broner and Thurman injured Manny's eyes, but he wins. The biggest question of Manny is stamina versus Crawford. And I really want to know, why do people, y'all got to explain to me, why are y'all questioning Manny Pacquiao's stamina? This has been a question that's come up in a couple of lives. Like, people really feel like he lost a step for some reason. Even though he beat Keith Thurman decisively, he knocked the man down. He pretty much won every round. He took some rounds off at the end, and now everybody thinks he lost a step. But they don't say that he pretty much walked through Jesse Vargas. They don't say he walked through Lucas Matisse. They don't say he walked through Adrian Broner. But they want to keep saying he lost a step in the Thurman fight. I don't get it. I don't get what you guys mean about he lost a step or he gassed out. He was clearly up on the scorecards. The man got knocked out by Marquez for going too hard at the wrong time. Keith Thurman's a way bigger fighter than Marquez. He obviously went in there with a strategy. He stuck to his strategy, and he won the fight. I mean, what else is he supposed to do? It's almost like y'all putting an asterisk next to that fight because he didn't knock him out. the knockdown wasn't good enough for you. He didn't knock him out, so he obviously lost the step. Like, come on, man. Is this the boxing talk we doing? Like, like nobody wants to give him credit for what he actually pulled off. Beating a younger Jesse Vargas, retiring Lucas Matisse, destroying Adrian Broner's career, destroying Keith Thurman's career. But they want to hang their whole conversation on the fact that he didn't go for a knockout at the end of the Thurman fight, or that he didn't go hard enough at the end of the fight. He didn't go for the knockout. He was already winning. Like, why do you need to see him knock somebody out for you to give him some type of props? I mean, he beat the biggest welterweight out there. Like, what else is he supposed to do? Like, seriously, what else was he supposed to do in that fight other than end up in a situation similar to the Marquez fight because he tried to do too much? It's ridiculous, bro. The whole conversation gets to be so ridiculous around Manny Pacquiao. If that was Earl Spence Jr. who did that to Keith Thurman, so many boxing fans would be kissing his butt from cheek to cheek. But because it's Manny Pacquiao and he's 42 years of age, they gotta find some type of flaw to hang their hat on to make themselves feel better. And it's so ridiculous at this point. Sometimes I don't even want to talk about y'all. I don't even want to put y'all comment out there because y'all keep bringing this up, but you're not giving no facts to go along with it. You're not giving a specific reason of why you felt like he gassed out, or why you feel like his stamina is in question, or why you feel like he can't beat these younger guys. You just say, well, he looked like he was gassing out at the end. Why do you feel like he was gassing out? Give me a specific reason of why you feel like he was gassing out at the end of that fight. What specifically did Thurman do that you saw that you was like, okay, well, he could actually beat Pacquiao if he had an extra round? I mean, what punch did Thurman throw that he almost knocked Pacquiao out with that you saw? And what round that I can go and specifically point to and say, okay, well, yeah, maybe he did gas out right there. Because I don't remember it. I didn't see it. The other people who watched the fight, they pretty much see it the way I said it, is that Pacquiao was up and he decided not to go as hard at the end of the fight because why risk it? You got to give some type of point. I mean, put a better point with your accusation. If you're going to accuse the man of gassing out, at least tell me why you feel like he gassed out. GT, if you guys fight Spence, then he may not fight Pacquiao. And they were Caps and Full G, and they were talking about that earlier too. So I believe you guys came out and made a statement about 50-50, which he's never going to get. So I don't feel like he actually wants that Spence fight. If he wants a 50-50, and this is it's kind of ridiculous for him to say. If he actually said that, I haven't seen the comment yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. But if he actually said that, it shows you the state of boxing. None of these guys want to fight each other when they get a belt. As soon as they get a belt, they start throwing out ridiculous terms, and none of these people are superstars. Nobody today, with the semi-exception of Earl Spence Jr., in the welterweight division are superstars, except for Manny Pacquiao. He's the only welterweight who is a superstar, who could put on a pay-per-view tomorrow with no press and sell 300,000 buys. With no press, fighting a bum. He could go fight a literal bum. He could go find a bum on the street, say, hey, I'm fighting this bum tomorrow, and 300,000 people will watch that fight. It's because he's a superstar boxer. Thurman ain't a superstar boxer. Earl Spence Jr. is not a superstar boxer. Terence Crawford is not a superstar boxer. These guys are not superstars. Canelo Alvarez is a superstar. He can put on a fight. He can fight a garbage man, sell thousands of his event. Same thing with Tyson Fury. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. They come with a built-in fan base. These guys are going to move numbers. But nobody in the welterweight division is moving any numbers. But they're commanding ridiculous amounts of money. And at some point, you got to go, why are they doing this? Either they don't want to fight each other. But I'm not going to call it a duck move. It's a way to just dodge a fight. Hey, I don't want this fight. I want to remain a champion for longer. Let me just throw out a ridiculous number I know nobody's going to agree to. And it gets me away from that fight. It gets me away from that fight. And I give Errol Spence Jr. leeway because he has 2 belts. He has fought a decent resume at welterweight. But this is the same thing that he's doing. It's the same thing he's doing. The same thing Crawford's doing. You guys is now attempting to do it, even though he's not very popular. He doesn't, command a high dollar amount for a fight. So I don't understand why he thinks he would get a 50-50 split or anywhere near that with Errol Spence. If you fight Errol Spence, your split is going to be 80-20 off top. There's no way he's going to get over that 20% mark. There's no way Errol Spence Jr. would get into a boxing ring with your Danish you guys and give him anything over a 20% split. He's offering Terence Crawford a 40% split. So there's no way he's gonna get close to that even close to that 50-50. So it's just a way he's following the resume. He's doing what the younger guys are doing. Okay, y'all don't want to fight each other. I'm a new champion. I can carve my own path, and I can go fight bums in the same way that you guys fight bums. It's just the state of boxing at the moment. I hate it, but it is what it is, man, at this point. Hopefully it gets better, man. Hopefully it starts with this Crawford fight with Pacquiao. Hopefully we get to see these two guys get it on and change the state of boxing, man. And, give fans what they want, what they deserve. Put on big money fights like they should be, like they used to be. And people don't want to watch this garbage no more. I definitely don't want to watch, these silly fights, these basically exhibition fights that that cost hundreds of dollars to watch. I don't want to keep supporting this garbage. And I don't care if it's Pacquiao putting it on or whoever's putting it on. If it's a bad fight, it's bad for boxing. I don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't really want to be involved in it. But because I am a Pacquiao fan, hey, I'll do it for you guys. I'm still leaning toward the Crawford fight. I feel like the Crawford fight is the fight that Pacquiao's going after. But it might ultimately end up in this Mikey Garcia situation only due to the fact that they can't secure a venue in the Middle East. And if anybody else is telling you anything different than that is the reason why the fight's not happening, they're lying to you, or they're simply trying to clickbait you. And I'm not going to do that. Bob Arum's agreed to the terms. Terence Crawford's agreed to the terms. Manny Pacquiao's agreed to the terms. Nobody's ducking nobody. Bob Arum's not holding anybody's money up. The problem is the venue. So let's keep it real, man. That's all I say is keep it real, man. Let's have a real boxing conversation and forget the nonsense. Move on from the nonsense, man. At what point do people? I'm gonna say grow up, but what point does clickbaiting people have eventually stop, man? When do y'all stop going for this clickbait stuff? All right. Let me get back into the chat. I ain't gonna be on her too much longer. So if y'all got some more questions y'all want to ask, or y'all got anything y'all want to add into the chat, man, definitely go ahead and drop your comments. We got 21 people in here, man. Pacquiao that like button for me, man. Hook it, jab it, uppercut it. Get them numbers up. Come on. Run them numbers up. Run them numbers up, man. Alright, so you guys fight Spence, then he may not. Okay, I got to that one. Tank is not going to fight for a while, Red. Tank is going to vacate. You said vacation, but I guess you meant vacation in France. Tank said he is French. How you feel about this? Is Tank avoiding big fights? There might be something wrong with Tank's hand, man. He might not want to admit that there's something wrong with his hand, but perhaps there's something wrong with his hand. Maybe he did break something, and he just needs some time off, or just don't want to admit it yet. So, you know, hey, just give these guys, you know, they are professional fighters. They injure themselves. Look, I don't think he needs to avoid anybody at 130. Not at 130 or 135. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's not ready for the Teofimo Lopez fights yet, or maybe the terms are just not there yet. You know, it would be a huge fight, so they got to make that fight at the right time. This is another thing that's you know, really holding up these Pacquiao fights. Like I just told y'all, man, he's a superstar boxer. He has to have a venue. He deserves big numbers, and there's just so much going on in the world to where a lot of this stuff just ain't lining up correctly. And sometimes that's the reason these fights don't happen. It don't always got to be something as dramatic as somebody ducking somebody, or Bob Arum's holding somebody's money, or some conspiracy theory. Sometimes it's simply, hey, it can't be made at the moment. We gotta wait until the time is right to make these fights. So you know, I don't know Tank. I don't know these people personally, man. I don't want to sit up here and keep accusing people of stuff, and I don't personally know these people. That's like real lame, man. There's some stuff in the street that'll get you hurt. Going around and accusing people of stuff, and you don't really know these people, man. Especially not boxers, man. These are professional boxers. I don't want to have to talk about boxers in the fashion of these guys are ducking and avoiding and running and hiding from me. These people see each other all the time. They're rich. They're in the same circle. They're in the same sport. They see each other all the time. So at certain points, you can't avoid seeing somebody. You know, the only I heard a saying the other day. It's a dope saying. Two mountains will never meet, but two men will. These guys will run into each other. They're rich. They're famous. They're in the same sport. You know, they're going to meet at some point. But for fans to keep saying these guys are ducking and dodging and hiding from each other, this is what normal people do. Because normal people are mostly cowards, man. They don't want a confrontation. These are professional boxers. These people get paid to hit, you know, to throw, you know. So I don't ever want to say these people are avoiding or hiding from each other. I will simply say that the dollar signs don't add up all the time. This is a business. It's the business of boxing. It's a sport. So the money has to be right for these fights to happen. It has nothing to do with somebody being a coward. You know, somebody not wanting to fight because he's scared of losing. Now, I do feel like there are people out there who are scared of losing that but I'm still not going to call that person a coward or call him, say he's ducking nobody. He's still a professional fighter, so give him the respect of a professional fighter. If you met up with that person, you definitely wouldn't say it to their face. So why get on the internet and spread, you know, nonsense? Because if you ain't going to confront these people to their face and say something to their face, don't get on here and be spreading nonsense, man. You know, it's ridiculous. It's simply ridiculous. That's why, you know, I can laugh when people make jokes about my skin color. You know, my teeth was crooked. Because I know for 100% sure, if I ever saw you and looked in your face, you would never in your life say that to me in my face. That's straight up. You just wouldn't. Because number one, I smack the taste out your mouth, homie. Straight up. You know, and that ain't no tough guy. It just wouldn't happen. So if you ain't gonna say it to my face, you ain't gonna say it to Terence Crawford's face. You're not gonna say it to Earl Spence's face. You're not gonna say it to Manny Pacquiao's face. Keep it to yourself if it ain't positive, right? It ain't on no real stuff. Cause it's lame for you to get on the internet and be doing this stuff. You somewhere hiding behind a computer, and you ain't never gonna see these people. You never gonna confront these people. You ain't never gonna say nothing tough to these people. So, you know, don't do it on the internet. You know, if you really believe these people are that cowardly and these people are ducking and dodging, go get you a camera, get you a little camera, a cell phone or something. Go find Earl Spence, go find Terence Crawford, go find Manny Pacquiao, and say that to their face. Tell him he's a coward to his face. Tell him you ducking this person to his face. Ask him why is he hiding from Earl Spence Jr. Ask Earl Spence Jr. why are you hiding from Terence Crawford. You know, go ask these people to their face. I know you ain't gonna do that Because I know for sure they would smack the taste at your mouth. They would smack the taste at your mouth. So, no, why y'all want to play games on it? Why you want to play games from a safe place? Don't play games from a safe place, man. Don't do that. Unless you're going to go confront somebody, quit playing games with people, man. Quit playing. These are people are professional athletes. Stop playing games with people. Unless you're going to go do that, stop playing games, man. It's lame, dude. It's like... That's why I don't even be wanting to make videos. So this stuff gets lame sometimes to me. It gets real. The whole conversation gets lame. The steroid talk gets lame. The whole these people ducking each other and all this. It gets lame sometimes, bro. It really do. So man, hey, if you want them questions answered, if these people ducking, you need to go talk to these people personally. Because, hey, if I felt like that, I truly felt like they was ducking each other, I go ask him. I'm not scared of nobody. Nobody. I don't care who you are. If I truly feel like that and I got that type of stuff in my heart and we run into each other, well, it's just got to go down, man. So stop playing with people unless you're going to go talk to these people personally. Don't keep asking me. All right, man. Manny accepts the loss to Marquez. Manny accepts all his losses. Manny Pacquiao ain't, he's a different type of person. He's a totally different type of person. And he's not a whiner or a complainer. The man did something wrong. He fixed what he did wrong. And now he's back on a winning streak. And, that I like Manny Pacquiao because he's humble. He knows how to take a loss. He knows how to get back up, dust himself off, and move on, man. A lot of boxing fans can't move on. A lot of boxing fans, they sit around and get all mad because they fighter and lost, or their fighter didn't take a certain fight, or man. At the end of this is sports, man. At the end of the day, if Manny Pacquiao was the type of guy who would have gotten knocked out by Marquez and then got on TV and said, hey, well, Marquez is on steroids. You never heard Manny Pacquiao once come out and say Marquez is on steroids. Like, who, and this goes for everybody accusing Marquez of steroids. Stop it, man. Manny Pacquiao hasn't even come out and said he thinks Marquez is on steroids. He realized he made a mistake, picked himself up, fixed his mistake, dusted himself off, came back. He even challenged him again. Hey, I'll fight you again, and I'll throw you umpteen millions of dollars, because I know I'm going to whoop your thing. I'm going to whoop that A. You know what I'm saying? He's not a cowardly person. Manny Pacquiao's not a cowardly person. He's been through it all. This is a person who was basically homeless as a child, who walked the streets of the Philippines with no shoes on his feet. The man's been through everything. So at no point will I ever accuse him of being some type of coward. I think just because he lost to somebody, that he's going to start accusing people of stuff. No, he's going to dust himself off. He's going to rebuild. He's going to get back in the ring. He's going to whoop your ass, basically. So, and that's what I hate about this whole conversation sometimes, is that boxing fans keep taking this cowardly lying route. Like, well, he only lost because he was on steroids, or, this guy's ducking him, or, man, like, stop it, man, for real. If these people want to fight, they'll fight. If they don't want to fight, they're not going to fight, and it's probably based off of money. It's probably based off of money. It has nothing to do with cowards, or these people, just kill that noise, man. Manuel Mara, Spence just dumped fighting Crawford. He has no interest in fighting big names. This is bad for boxing. I've already explained why Spence don't want to, it's not up to Spence to make that fight. It's up to Crawford to just say, hey, I don't sell very big on pay-per-view. The 60-40 split is actually not that bad, because nobody knows what his cut of that 60-40 split is. Nobody knows what they offered Terence Crawford. Now, if they said, hey, I'm going to get $30 million and you're only going to get $2 million, that's a horrible split, Or if they said, hey, we'll give you $5 million, but I'm going to get $45 million, that's a horrible split. But we don't know what the split is. That 60-40 split could have been a very lucrative split for Terence Crawford. But because he feels like he's just as big of a name as Errol Spence, he wants to command more money. I don't hate Terence Crawford for commanding more money. I'm not going to say he's ducking or he's hiding from. I just say the money don't line up. The dollar signs do not line up for either one of those guys, so the fight's not going to happen. Errol Spence is not ducking nobody. You know, it's just not what's going on. Terence Crawford ain't ducking nobody. It's just not what's going on. The money ain't right. The money ain't right. And until the dollar signs line up, the fight's probably never going to happen. But there are better fights out there for both of those guys. You know, that's not the end of the, you know, that's not the end all be all for Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. Either one of those guys can move up, fight the Charlos. They can move up, fight Canelo. They can move up, fight Triple G. And that fight, if they fought the Charlos, they would probably make just as much as if they fought each other. If they fought Triple G or Canelo, they're going to make more than they would if they fought each other. You know, so there are still bigger fights out there for either one of those guys. They don't have to hang their hat on fighting each other. They do if they want to remain in the welterweight division. But if they don't want to remain in the welterweight division, there's still bigger fights out there. And there are bigger fights that are going to get made for both of those guys. So I'm not with the whole let's clown these guys for being cowards. Because I ain't about to go say it to neither one of their faces. Now, if they ever said something crazy to me, I'm a man, so I'm going to stand up for mine. And we're going to fight it out. They probably going to kick my butt and them and all their security guards, but I don't care. You know, at the end of the day, you ain't going to slick talk me if I don't slick talk you. If I say something crazy to you, you got the right to say something crazy back to me. But if I don't say nothing crazy to you, hey, don't slick talk me, I won't slick talk you. Straight up. All right, let's move on. GT at 147 for PAC to fight you guys, JJ, Spence Jr., Crawford, Porter, Ennis, Victor Ortiz, talented prospects, no belts. Thurman Broner, Mikey Garcia, prospects should fight. Thurman versus Broner, Mikey Garcia. You know, that's how it should be. You know, but we know that that's not how it goes in the sport of boxing right now. These guys are chasing dollar signs. Everybody's chasing the money. Everybody wants the big money fights. Money destroyed the sport of boxing, and Mayweather put the nail in the coffin. When the purses got to ridiculous sizes, is when boxing started having a problem. When the purses wasn't that big and these guys was fighting for pride and they were actually fighting for belts, it was a totally different sport. But when it became more prize fighting and less boxing, it was boxing at first. It was the sport of hurt. It was the fight game at first. Then it flipped and turned into prize fighting. It's the professional sport of boxing now, and it's all about the dollar sign. So I don't get mad when I really don't get mad when fights don't get made, because I understand why the fight's not getting made. It's the new era of boxing. It's the Mayweather effect. It's the fact that the dollar signs don't line up. And, you know, it just is what it is. You know, accept it for what it is at this point. Because at the end of the day, I've said this before, we got to be honest with ourselves. You guys made this a problem. And I'm not pointing at everybody in here, but if you were buying those Mayweather fights, you made this a problem. You made that whole, I can't lose a fight. You know, I'm popular when I act silly. And you know, if I make, you know, weird, easy to win fights, I'm gonna get rich. Y'all paid for this stuff. Y'all paid it. Y'all made it popular, and we stuck with it now. And until somebody comes and changes this, it's just what we stuck with at the moment. So don't get mad if your two favorite fighters don't fight each other. You gotta look at yourself and say, what role did I play in all this? Did I buy a bunch of ridiculous fights and make this popular, or it just is what it is. Are you just going to accept it for what it is? But don't get mad at these guys and say they ducking and all this stuff if you ain't going to go say it to their face. But I know you ain't going to go say it to their face. Caps and Full G. What's up, Caps, man? Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Cap says, just got up. What's going on? Man, just chopping it up, chopping it up about the potential fights, and this is more of a convo session than a news session. Just spilling some stuff I felt, man, and then talking a little bit about these potential fights. But this is more of a chop up session than anything. It ain't no big news really right now coming out yet. But appreciate you for coming through, Caps, man. I always love seeing you come through, man, and putting good input into the chat. Orlito, Red, have you seen a video of Pac watching his KO with Marquez? He laughed at it. I'm not surprised because he was beating the crap out of Marquez up until that point. He was going to win that fight up until that point, and he made a mistake. So I'm pretty sure he saw whatever mistake he made and probably did laugh at it because he'll never make that mistake again. He'll definitely never make that mistake again. And especially not against a fighter of the caliber of Marquez. There's no way Marquez should have knocked him out in that fashion. Marquez is really not that caliber of fighter. Pacquiao was fighting a style of fight that was perfect for Marquez to knock him out at that moment. And, but Marquez is not some super duper knockout artist. He should have never been able to land that type of punch on Pacquiao. And that's what I mean about Pacquiao. He's not one of those guys who's going to complain about a loss or get up and whine or accuse people of anything. He, like you said, he watched it, laughed it off, and he moved on, man. He moved on. He made himself better, and he's back to doing what he does. He's back to winning big fights. He's back to making bigger fighters look bad. He's back to making younger fighters look bad. So it is what it is, man. By the way, hi there, man. I'm 6'7". I don't think Tank would do anything because I'm the Chirac fam. Old block. Tank ain't fought anybody in top. Size don't matter, man. Size don't matter. You saw what Pacquiao did to Keith Thurman. If you get it put on your chin, you get it put on your chin. On your best night, even Mike Tyson went to sleep. So I don't hate you, bro. I ain't got no problem with you. It sounds like you probably younger than I am, and when you're young, you're feeling yourself, and that's cool, man. Feel yourself. And, stand as tall as you stand. You a man like I'm a man. But at the end of the day, we all men. And there's always somebody tougher than somebody somewhere. Or, Tupac would still be alive. Mo 3 would still be alive. You know what I'm saying? King Von. Never heard his music. Never heard of him until he got murdered. But these people would still be alive. Because all these people, one thing they had in common is they thought that they was the toughest MFer in the world. And unfortunately for them, hey, it was somebody else tougher out there that day. So I don't play those games with people. I've lost friends. I've been shot at. I've done very stupid things in my life. And there's no way I sit around and play those type of games with people. If I'm not willing to say something to somebody's face, I just sometimes need to shut up, and leave it alone. Because it can really go too far really quickly. So trying to be a tough guy, man, it's definitely not good for business. Especially if you're a businessman and you're in the business of making money. Sitting around trying to be tough with somebody ain't gonna make you a whole bunch of money. Unless you're in boxing, then being tough is your job. But I'm not in boxing. I don't fight professionally. So sitting around trying to play tough guy with somebody, it's not something I'm gonna do unless you disrespecting me. So, I don't go around disrespecting people or calling people cowards, trying to talk crazy about somebody unless I'm going to do it to their face. If I ain't going to do it to their face, I ain't got much to say unless it's some factual stuff. Do you have Filipino friends ask questions the reason you support Manny Pacquiao? No, I don't. Other than you guys, like I've explained before, I'm African American. Some people might think I'm African. No, I'm not. I'm just a dark-skinned African American. And none of my friends are really or none of the people I to be completely honest with you, man, I don't really kick it with a lot of people anymore. I got friends, I got plenty of friends, but how can I explain this without sounding effed up? The last 2 or 3 years of my life, I've learned a lot, man, about trusting people, about how quickly somebody will turn on you, how much people will pretend to like you because they're trying to use you for something, and it makes me distance myself from people a lot. So I got a lot of friends, but I'm not hanging around these people. I got some rich friends, I got some broke friends. I've never coattailed my rich friends, and I don't really hang out with my broke friends like that all the time. And it has nothing to do with I don't like these people, or we're not still friends, but it has more to do with the past 3 years of my life has shown me about trusting people and putting all your trust in people, and the way people will cowardly stab you in the back. And so, to answer your question, no, I don't have no real Filipino friends that I know personally, and no, most of my friends that I know in real life are not Manny Pacquiao fans. Some of them support Pacquiao, but most of them are not. And I had plenty of arguments with people that I personally know about Pacquiao, and it was hard to deal with the whole situation of the Floyd Mayweather fight because I had my personal feelings about the fight, but like I told you, I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna deny what's in the record books. So I didn't even bring the whole conversation up. If we're not gonna have a real conversation about how the fight went, and they're only gonna say, well, he lost the fight, he lost the fight, he lost the fight, I told you he was gonna lose. That's not an argument I want to sit around and have with people, because it's not gonna go anywhere. And at the end of the day, we all from the street. We might be friends, but it might end up coming down to blows at some point. So I just leave the conversation alone because I'm not gonna punch my friend in the face because he's not agreeing with and it could go that far when it comes to black people sometimes over something as stupid as a boxing match, which is why I don't do this whole little tough guy stuff unless you playing with me. Then I gotta get with you because I'm a grown man. I'm a man, and just like you a man, or you a grown woman, or whatever you are. But no, to answer your question, no. Alright, man, let's move on in the chat. Ryan Relieve. I'm pretty sure I said it wrong. I say Pac should fight Crawford or Spence for the last fight, and to do it sooner than later because time is against Pacquiao. I don't think time is against anybody. I'm going to be honest with you, man. You are as young as you want to be. Time and age is something that people, I think, use sometimes because they don't want to push themselves. And once they get to a certain age, they go, well, I'm at this age, so I guess I gotta stop. I gotta start slowing down, or I gotta stop doing this, or I gotta stop doing that, because simply they don't want to push themselves to be greater at a later age. Well, I didn't do it in my 20s, so I'm 30 now, so I can't do it. Or hey, I didn't do it in my 30s, I'm 40 now, so I guess I gotta start doing old man stuff. You're only as young and as old as you feel, man. And if Manny Pacquiao say he can still do this, who am I to tell him he can't? Because on an average day, he gonna knock me through a wall if I tried to fight him. So he's obviously better than an average human being. So why would an average human being try to dictate to somebody who is above average what they should do simply because they hit a certain age? This is the problem that we as humans have. We project ourselves onto other people because, like I said, we don't want to push ourselves past our limits or what we perceive to be our limits. So you hit a limit or what you perceive to be a limit, and you stop instead of pushing yourself past the limit. Because you say, hey, well, my dad stopped at this limit, let me stop at this limit. Or my cousin stopped at this limit, let me stop at this limit. Or my uncle broke his leg when he tried to go past that limit. So I guess I need to stop at this limit, man. I'm not gonna ever say Pacquiao's too old for anything. He's never too old to beat an average human being. He's probably never too old to beat some of these younger guys. When Manny Pacquiao decides to hang it up, it's when Manny Pacquiao decides to hang it up, and it's his decision. Same way when Errol Spence decides to make his next fight, or whoever it's gonna be, it's his decision, man. I'm not the end all be all nobody, and I don't play no role over nobody, man. So I can't really say Pacquiao needs to hang it up, or his time is against him. Time is against you if you think time is against you. Obviously Pacquiao don't feel like time is against him. He feel like time is working perfectly in his favor, so he gonna keep doing what he does. I'm gonna keep rocking with him until he's done rocking, man. That's how I'm rolling. Mind you, there are rules in boxing and in the streets. There ain't no rules. Oh, there are definitely rules in the streets. I don't know who told you that, homie, but there are definitely rules in the streets. Because you go in any gang territory with the wrong thing on, and you're going to find out what the rules are. You know? Really quickly, you're going to find out what the rules of the streets are. There are rules. There are rules everywhere. You can't go in nobody's house without there being some type of... You're not going to go in nobody's house and just start stealing and think they ain't going to beat your A from wall to wall and drag you up out of there. Or you might get shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? There are rules to everything. So, you know, like I said, man, you young. You probably younger than I am. And you flexing, you know, flex, man. I don't mind you flexing, man, but be careful with that, man. It can go left really quick. It can go left really quick. It can go left really quick. There are rules and everything, big bro. There are definitely rules in the street, because you're not going to go snatch nobody's dope. You ain't about to go shoot up nobody's block. You ain't about to walk in no blood territory with no Crip uniform. I'm not going over no GD's house hollering BD, gangster the side. You know, there's rules to everything. So, there are rules everywhere, bro. I can't agree with that, man. There definitely rules in the streets. Orlito, guys, let Pac shakes off the rust. Mikey, guys, let Pac shake off the rust. Mikey would be a good fight, if not great. Don't rush him to fight Lions. He needs conditioning in his body for that. You know, listen, man. If this wasn't a superstar fighter we was talking about, I would agree with you. This is Manny Pacquiao we talk about here, man. And he just destroyed Keith Thurman. And even it was a year ago, but hey, it was he still showed and proved that he can still do it. So if he wants to take a tune up, it's on him. If he don't want to tune up, it's on him. You know, I'm not questioning Manny Pacquiao's reasoning for anything. I could still be upset that if he fights Mikey, because I don't agree with the fight and I don't feel like he gets anything from it. But you know, at the end of the day, it's really on Manny Pacquiao. I don't feel like he needs a tune-up. He's a superstar. He knows what condition he needs to be in to beat other fighters. And if he says he's in that shape, I rock with him, man. Tune-up or not. Ryan says, it's pointless for Pac to keep fighting if it's not top contenders like Spence and Crawford. Because at this point, he is fighting to further his legacy. I don't think Mikey Garcia is a step forward. I completely agree with you, man. I think it is pointless to be just fighting to be fighting, because you could easily lose, man. He could easily lose to Mikey Garcia, and it would look horrible. And we definitely ain't gonna get no Spence or Crawford fight if he lose to Mikey Garcia, the Taco. So it could go bad, man. It could really go bad for Pacquiao. And that's what I don't want. I don't want him to keep fighting for no reason. If he's gonna fight, man, fight the best. Try to achieve more, or like you said, man, just hang it up, because I don't want to see him go down to a lesser opponent. If he goes down, I would like for it to be somebody on an equal playing field with him, or somebody who's obviously better than he is. I don't want to see him go down to a lesser opponent. Taking nothing away from Mikey, he's a good fighter, but he's not on Pacquiao's level. He's not on Crawford's level. He's not on Spence's. He's not even on you guys' level as a welterweight. Not yet, because he hasn't proven himself in the welterweight division. He might be an all-around better boxer than you guys, but as far as a welterweight, he's not even a better boxer than you guys. So I do feel like it's a waste of everybody's time if he fights Mikey. If we ultimately get that fight, what can we do but throw our hands up and just hope the man wins? At that point, there's no need for warm-up as long as you know your condition. Warm-up at PAC's age will only work against him, in my opinion. And, you know, I agree with that completely. I think it could go left, because these are not warm-up fights. You know, Mikey Garcia is not going in there to warm Pacquiao up. He's going in there to win. So it could end up being a disaster for Pacquiao if he ain't in the right conditioning. So why would you go out and fight a Mikey Garcia, potentially lose, probably make less money, when you could have just held up for a little while, got the better fight with Crawford, you know, or Spence, made more money, win or lose, and then bow out of the sport of boxing, instead of possibly losing to Mikey Garcia for less money, and it all ending up in an embarrassment at the end of the day. This is my take on it. All right, Alito, I would love to see Thurman versus Broner pre-fight conferences. Who do you think would win? The Bud mouthing each other moment of these two. That would be interesting, but in the ring, Thurman wins. Huh. No, I don't feel like Bud is that much of a trash talker. So, oh, you talking about Thurman and Broner. Oh, you said Broner. I think Thurman would definitely beat Broner, but the whole banter, the back and forth would be real. I think the press conferences would probably be better than the fight would be, because I think Thurman will probably knock Broner out, to be completely honest with you. I think Thurman will probably do it quickly too. But I think Broner would give such a great press conference. It would be the press conference would be better than the fight he put up. Red, I respect you, fam. This one of the best boxing channels, because you speak equally on all fighters, and you're not biased like a lot of the boxing channels. I appreciate that, Don. Like I said, ain't no beef, man. Ain't none of that, you know. Listen, man, at the end of the day, I just want to talk about boxing, dude. I'm not here to be no pack-tard, or here to be a flow-mo, or hate nobody. I'm trying to go off facts, man. I don't watch these other channels because they don't go off facts. You know, people keep asking me who do I watch and why do I watch these people. I don't watch pretty much nobody except for Caps. Caps, the guy I showed y'all the other day. You know, I got a few other channels that, you know, the guys were supporting me so heavy that I told them I would support them back. So I do. But at the end of the day, when it comes to outside of the little circle of boxing talk friends that I built, I really don't watch these guys because they don't talk real boxing. It's entertainment. It's for views. It's for money. And I don't find these guys to be very entertaining. I don't like their boxing talk. I don't like getting lied to. I don't like people accusing professional fighters of stuff that they wouldn't say to their face. And so I don't support those people. So, you know, when you come over here and talk to me, you probably are going to get something totally different, because number one, I'm not making no money off this. Number two, I don't lie on people. I don't talk about people I wouldn't go confront to their face in no derogatory way. And number three, I'm doing this so things will change. If I want it to change and I feel like it should be different, why would I get up here and do the same thing that I refuse to watch those guys do? So I had to bring something different to the table to appease myself, really. Because if it was just all about the money and all about the views, believe me, my channel would be completely different. And I could do it that way if that's what y'all want to see. If y'all like being clickbaited and you know, me making thousands and thousands of dollars off y'all, then hey, I'll flip it up, and you know, I'll go over and kiss those guys' butts so I can be in their little clique, and that way I can get views and money off of YouTube. But if y'all want to keep it real boxing talk and, you know, have a nice conversation, everybody's opinion gets heard, and we have real boxing talk, y'all stick around, keep clicking the buttons, man, keep supporting, keep hitting that like button, keep dropping y'all comments, and keep being y'all, because I'm going to keep being me until the day I feel like this stuff, I don't need to say nothing else, you know. When Pacquiao does go away, either I'm gonna flip to something else, you know, I'll start talking about basketball, I'll start talking about some other fighters, you know, when that day comes, or when I find somebody I truly feel like supporting, then that's when I'll push that button. Until then, you know, I'm gonna just do me, man. I don't want to be like those guys, man. I don't have anything in common with those people. You know, a lot of what they do is based in racism, and obviously you can't be a black racist and like Manny Pacquiao. So if they telling you they a Pacquiao fan, but they spouting, you know, black, you know, black only everything that comes out of their mouth is black this and black that, then they're not real Pacquiao fans, because you can't be a racist and a fan of somebody else who don't look like you at the same time. So I'm not basing nothing off of race. I ain't basing nothing off of, except off of facts, man. You know, it's all facts. I like Pacquiao because he's a great fighter. I'm going to support him to the end. He's a great fighter, so I'm going to support him to the end. And that's it at the end of the day. Don't know Manny Pacquiao. Don't have any Filipino friends. Man, I'm by myself, bro. It's me. I'm here. Y'all don't. When's the last time y'all watched one of my videos where y'all saw somebody else in the video other than Caps and Full G? You know, when you see me on the streets, it's exactly what you're gonna see. You're gonna see me by myself. If I got a problem with somebody, they're gonna see me by myself. You know, it just is what it is. I don't need no team around me. I don't need no fake friends. I don't need no backstabbers. I don't need nobody gonna turn on me if something bad happens. I'll just be me at the end of the day. I'm happy with being me, bro. Straight up. Olito, age is just an amount of number. Wilder. That sounds like a Wilder comment right there. Ryan, but our body change as we get older and can't heal as quickly. It depends, man. It depends, because it depends on your diet. It depends on how much you work out. It depends on how active you are. Your body changes when you do bad things to your body. Your body only changes when you can't stop the aging process, but you can slow it down. If you feeding your body the right stuff, you're not gonna age as quickly. But as human beings, as Americans, we're addicted to a lot of stuff we can't. We're subliminally addicted to a lot of stuff we can't get off of. There's all type of crap in our food that makes us age quicker. And you know, a lot of us can't afford to eat better. A lot of us just don't want to eat better. But a lot of that got to do with your diet and the way you carry yourself. If you drinking a fifth and you smoking a pack of cigarettes and you eating cheeseburgers all day long, what do you think gonna happen to you? Well, when's the last time you seen Manny Pacquiao fire up a cigarette, or a swig, a fifth of liquor, or shove a cheeseburger down his throat? So, I mean, for that reason, those are some of the reasons I don't look at Pacquiao like I look at these other guys. If you want the truth from me on why I think he beat Keith Thurman, it's because Keith Thurman smoked too many blunts. I'm gonna be straight up with you. He beat Thurman because Thurman smokes. He smokes marijuana. There's nothing wrong with marijuana, but if you're a smoker, obviously your stamina ain't gonna be right. And you know, a guy who don't smoke is gonna be a lot quicker than you are. So a lot of this stuff has to do with how people carry themselves and how people live their day-to-day life. It ain't got nothing to do with just the number that's attached to your body. It really don't get. It really, I watch plenty of people on YouTube every day that these people are vegans. They only eat once a day, and you know their full diet is refined, and they stick to that. You know, they're dedicated to that. Those are the type of people who have longevity in life. You know, sitting around drinking 40s, smoking blunts and cigarettes and Black and Milds, and swigging liquor all day ain't gonna make you look good when you're 60 years old. I would be honest with you. You know, that's one of the reasons I stopped doing a whole lot of stuff I was doing when I was 18 and 20, and, you know, stuff like that. It's because, to be completely honest with you, I was watching a lot of the people around me fall apart. And I'm like, hold on, bro. This person's only in their 30s. Why are they, you know, this person's only this age. Why are they falling apart so quickly? And then I started examining myself and seeing some of the things that was going on in my life. And I'm like, hold on, man. If I want to be around for a little while, I can't do what everybody else does. You know, it might have been fun for a little while, but that ish ain't sustainable for your whole life. It ain't. And you ain't going to be no healthy, happy, productive individual when you 50 and 60 years old. A lot of people, but that's the bad thing about being black. This is what effed up about being black. Most of us don't even expect to be 30 years old. So we don't give a F about, you know, whether we smoking or drinking, you know, what we eating when we 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. We trying to party as hard as we can, bag as many light skins, throw as many dollars, cop as many chains before we get our head blown off. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of being an African American. So, you know, a lot of these guys, they don't want nothing better. They don't believe in nothing better. They don't think they're going to be nothing better. They don't think they're going to even live to be 25, 30 years old. So, you know, you throw your whole life away at a young age. And, you know, Manny Pacquiao is the complete opposite of that. The man didn't have nothing at a young age. And he fought for something. And when he achieved something, he obviously stuck to whatever mind state that he had. And it's why he can do the things that he does at 42 years of age. People need to stop, like I said, projecting themselves on the other people. You know, that's what most human beings do. Like I said, when you hit a certain wall, most people, when they hit a certain wall, they just stop. Manny Pacquiao ain't stopped. He's pushed through those, he's ran through those walls. That's why he's not average. He's not a normal human being. We mostly are normal human beings. We don't want to push ourselves past anything. We just want to get a cheeseburger, you know, and a soda, and go sit our butt down because we had to work 16 or 17 hours in a day. You know, this is the difference between being a millionaire and an average human being, or being somebody who got some money and an average human being. You know, I might be in great shape, but if I had $1 million, I would be in amazing shape because I would have people making my meals for me, and I have people doing all the stressful stuff that an average person has to do for themselves, and that ages people. Manny Pacquiao, I'm pretty sure, outside of politics, has no stress in his life anymore. He might have in his younger age, but he ain't got no stress in his life. So, you know, I don't look at that whole age thing as, you know, like it's real for him. It's not really real for him. You can't look at it like it's real for him. Aging is not real for Pacquiao. You know, until he starts doing stuff that normal people do, I don't look at it that way. I look at him as an above average human being because of his skill sets and because the man's a millionaire. Straight up. Ryan says fact. Yes, sir. Word. Pacquiao is not a normal human being. What applies to yourself does not necessarily apply to other human beings. Exactly, man. Exactly. 100%. Boxing is a self-defense. You cannot use boxing skill, punch guy without purpose. I don't know what you meant by that. Amen, Red. Fight the best and call it quits. Straight up, man. No need for the nonsense no more. If Garcia and Manny signed the contract, you do not watch boxing fight. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't pay for it. I definitely wouldn't pay for it. But if you fought Crawford, I'd go pay for the full price for the pay-per-view. If he fought Spence, I'll pay the full price for the pay. But I'm not supporting. I'm not putting my dollars toward anything I don't support anymore. Broner funny as F. He is, man. I like Broner, man. He might not be the best boxer out there, but he's definitely a likable personality. I feel sorry for what he had to go through over the last year, but I'm glad he was able to get him some money back up, man. I don't want to see nobody do bad, man. I'm not that vicious of a person to where, because I don't agree with you as a boxer, I want to see you suffer through the rest of your life, He's a likable guy, man. He's a talented guy too, man. He can rap, he can box. He makes bad decisions because of his environment and the way he was brought up. So, I ain't got nothing bad to say about AB, man. Wish him nothing but the best. Pat, I didn't get a notification. Anyways, hit the like button. Hey, man, that's what YouTube does to me, man. Yeah, that's why I'm making videos, because I'm not gonna waste my time, spending 2, 3, 4 hours on a project to try to put something nice out for people, and then it's not y'all that's not clicking it. It's YouTube that refuses to show it to you because they don't want to pay me what they owe me, basically, and without giving up a lot of the behind the scenes of why YouTube does this. I will tell you one thing. I have a very high CPM, and y'all wonder why I don't curse. That's because I have a very, very high CPM. So if I hit 1,000 views on a video, YouTube owes me quite a bit of money for that for that video. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So this is the reason I don't cuss in the videos, is because if you don't cuss in your videos, they will put your CPM much higher than the person who's saying the F word every other word. So, that's a little tidbit for people who do YouTube and who are monetized. Your CPM will go up if you're not cussing in your videos. I got a real high CPM. They don't want to show my stuff to everybody because they would have to pay me ridiculous amounts of money if y'all clicked on every one of my videos. Just to be honest with you. If y'all were clicking like people were clicking at first now, man, I would be making nice money off of YouTube. But unfortunately, like you said, they don't notify you. They won't show it to nobody. It just is what it is. I ain't gonna whine about it, but it just is what it is. Ryan, only one purpose in boxing, and that is to win and get that check, son. Straight up, man. That's the only purpose. Just be yourself. Appreciate that, PAC, man. Thurman's poems versus Broner's jargons. Depends on fans' preference. I definitely think Broner would out-rap Thurman. I think if they had a rap battle, they had a versus battle, Broner would eat Thurman alive. I don't know about his poems. I've heard a few of them. They kind of, they're a little weird, You can do a Manny Pacquiao old fights video reaction. I don't really want to do that, man. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not a reaction channel. I'm not gonna make myself a reaction channel. This ain't about the money. If it was about the money, believe me, I would have made a flip a long time ago. It's more about communicating with other Pacquiao fans at this point for me. At some point, I'll move into doing, full boxing talk. I see I changed the name. I could bring in other sports, and I could expand it at any point I want to, man. I'm being really lazy with this stuff right now. And listen, it's got a lot to do with the state of boxing for me. It's got a lot to do with how people perceive stuff. It's got a lot to do with, I don't want to be a clickbait channel. I don't want to lie to people. And at the end of the day, it's just not that serious to me anymore. To be completely honest with you, man. I don't take YouTube that seriously anymore. It's fun coming out here chopping it up with y'all. So I like doing this format more than I like wasting my time making videos for people YouTube ain't gonna show it to. Hey, it is what it is, man. I ain't gonna sit here and whine about it. I lost myself again. I'm only addicted to. Hey, man, it's not a bad thing. I don't consider that to be a bad thing at all. It's actually it helps me, but smoking anything It's not good for your lungs. And like I said, a smoker versus a non-smoker, the non-smoker is always going to win, because at a point, your lungs have had damage done to them. So that you're going to hit a point where you're going to start feeling the effects of the damage that you've done to your lungs. So, you know, there's really nothing wrong with smoking, you know, weed or whatever, man. You know, it actually depends on how you consume it. There's better ways to consume it than smoking it. But there's really nothing wrong, not a lot wrong with smoking weed. But you're definitely going to have some type of effect, you know, when it comes to a smoker versus a non-smoker. Let's just be honest and real about that. I heard Bud has opponent already. Hope it's Pac-Man. Captain 4G and them was talking about that earlier, man. That they said that they didn't say they had an opponent. They said they had a date set, which was like May the 28th or something like that. So I'd agree with you there. There is something going on surrounding Bud Crawford, whether it's Pacquiao or Porter. I don't want to speculate, man. I'm not speculating anymore. I'm waiting for actual news to come out before I start, you know, throwing my 2 cents out there about everything that's going on. Pac-Man loves cheeseburgers, though. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with a good cheeseburger every once in a while, but if you watch what he normally eats when his chefs and stuff prepares his meals, I've never seen a cheeseburger in one of those meals. I see a lot of fish, a lot of soup, a lot of rice, a lot of vegetables. I've personally never seen Pacquiao eat a cheeseburger. I saw his Butterfinger commercial, though, so we know he likes Butterfingers. I'd rather see Pacquiao fight Paulie Maldonado than Mikey. I hope Mikey fights Danny or goes down to 140. I would definitely rather see him go down to 140. Perhaps fight Teofimo or Devin Haney or Tank, you know, somebody like that, rather than him fight Manny Pacquiao. Emmanuel, what's good with you? Pac, LOLGT. Rich G, Manny Pacquiao and Tom Brady cut from some of the same cloth of greatness. You know, it is what it is, man. It just depends on how good your skill sets are, how dedicated you are to yourself and your sport. And it really shouldn't matter about the age. Now, eventually, in a sport like boxing or a sport like football, it probably will start to take a slight toll on your body. But like I said, it all depends on how hard you went in the sport and how well you kept yourself up, man. Barbecue, Timothy Bradley has like the best physique in boxing, and he is 100% vegan. I think he got good genes too to get that wide body frame. Yeah, he definitely had a wide body frame for such a small guy, but I think that had something to do with the fact that he is so squat and compact, and then when he put on weight, it started expanding his body out more. Like if I put on another 10 pounds, then I'm going to expand out more, and my chest is going to come up more and all that type of stuff. So, definitely, man, you know, Tim Bradley is he's one of a kind, but I don't know if you noticed lately, he's not in the same shape that he was when he was boxing. So, obviously, once, you know, even on a vegan diet, when you stop being active or when you stop working out on a daily basis, it's going to have an effect on your body. And that's basically what I mean. As long as Manny Pacquiao's active and he's doing the things to build his body up and help his body, I don't ever feel like he's too old for anything. I'm going to finish the chat up, man. We on here for like 2 hours, man. Give me the 20 likes, man. Come on, y'all. Come on, run them likes up. Finish this chat, man. I'm going to get out of here, go find me something to eat, man. And if y'all give me the 25 likes, I'll hop back on here tomorrow. We might not have enough people in here to get to 25, but try to give me like 22, 21, 22. Come on, man. Come on, give up the likes, man. Come on, come on. Run those numbers up. Let me see. What was that? Kamal Diarrheal. Question by boxing. Boxing promoters consistently not putting the big fights Will this kill the sport at the same time with the UFC and Dana White forcing the best to the best? I think it actually hurts the UFC, but it helps the UFC at the same time, because when you put the best against the best, somebody's got to lose. And in the UFC, when you lose, you can really get hurt. So sometimes, they lose superstars really fast, which is the reason why I don't like watching UFC. Because you get invested into a guy, he get kicked in the face really hard, and then you never hear from him again. Or it's 2 years until he fights again. So it's kind of hard to invest time into the UFC. To where boxing, the guys get hurt, but they normally don't get hurt that bad. As far as the first part of your question, as far as the promoters, I think it's already killed the sport. The sport is dead, basically. It's on life support. It's not dead. It's on life support. It's gonna take something dramatic to happen for the sport to be revived to the status that it was at one point, or even to start rivaling the UFC again. It's not dead yet, but it's definitely on life support, and it's got a lot to do with promoters and fighters and money. It's got more to do with money than anything. And I don't mean Money Mayweather. He ruined the sport, but I mean money in general. These guys are making way too much money, and money's dictating everything in the sport. In a sport like boxing, money shouldn't be the dictating factor. It should be legacy and achieving those belts. But unfortunately, that's kind of been pushed to the side, and it's all about them dollars. What a dollar is that? Pac eats healthy, happy family equals too good life. The good life, I think is what you were trying to say. In the fight, he beat the crap out of his opponent, then go sign to a contract. Go sing to a concert, then go home the same day. Pacquiao's a special person, man. It takes a special person to be able to do that type of stuff. I think after he fought Thurman, he actually went to church. It was either the Broner fight or the Thurman fight, and it might have been the Broner fight, because I actually think Broner went to church. After one of those fights, it was one of these last 3 fights. Somebody went to church with Pacquiao after the fight, because he ended up going to church after the fight, and I believe the person he fought went to church with him. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it was one of these fights. He went to church right after the fight. Then work out the next day. Orlito, T.O.'s father said that T.O. would absolutely beat Pacquiao if they would fight. Isn't it a good fight? Pac could get more belts though and be instant unified champ. There's too much weight for him to try to drop to go down to 135. He'll be weight drained, and T.O. will probably knock him out because of the weight draining. He's been at 147 way too long to try to drop down and go back to 130. Lopez, I completely agree with you about Broner. I just wish he would have shown up his past fight. He did okay, but we all know he's got a lot more to show. Yeah, he did okay. I think he won the fight, to be honest with you, man. I think dude, the guy he fought even admitted he should have did more. And, a lot of those punches he was throwing, they looked like they were landing, but Broner has a really weird way that he blocks shots. So a lot of that stuff was actually getting blocked where it looked like it was landing. And I think Broner did just enough to win the fight. Wasn't it an overwhelmingly amazing performance by Broner? No, it wasn't. But I think he did it just enough to get the victory. I think he did enough for people to be a little more enthusiastic about his next fight, too. So, I like Broner, man. Wish him nothing but the best. Oh, man. Here's a name right here. Lemimi Lebra. I ain't got no way to say that. Dela Cruz. I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce your first name, bro, but I appreciate you for coming through. You're the best, man. Very impartial commentary. More power. I appreciate you, bro. I'm sorry I can't say your first name, man, but I definitely appreciate that, bro. Orlito, Pac loves listening to Shakira's album when training. I didn't know that. I like Shakira. Shakira's decent, man. She can sing. A lot of people can't sing, man. They sell millions of records, but they can't really sing. But she has a decent voice. Like Alicia Keys has a really good voice. Selena had a really good voice. Aaliyah had an awesome voice. Who else? Somebody else from today? The Weeknd. He's the new Michael Jackson, man. He got an amazing voice, and his concepts for his songs are so ridiculous. They rival what Michael Jackson was doing, But a lot of these people can't really sing, but they sell millions of records. Mayweather like Shakira. Shakira too. Actually, I follow UFC almost religiously now. UFC fighters are like Manny Pacquiao. They don't really care about losing. Losing is not the end all be all or their careers. I mean, I agree with you there. I don't think they care about losing. That's not what I was trying to say. My problem with the UFC is that the fights usually end too quickly. And when the fights end quickly like that, guys get really hurt. And they might not fight for a while. So I don't really want to waste my time investing a lot of time and following somebody's career who could possibly get knocked out in their next fight and not fight again for a year. I may possibly even retire. Like Shamrock used to retire all the time. I used to love watching Shamrock fight back when the UFC was real UFC, when there was no gloves and all that. This UFC is not the same as when it started. Those guys were really, going at it with each other. Those guys were almost killing each other. It's very brutal still. It's very violent still, but it's not what it was back then when guys were breaking each other's arm and almost choking each other to death. It's not the same. It's not the same as it was. But because it's fighters disappear too quickly, man. For me, and I'm way too invested in the sport of boxing to completely switch over to UFC. And I don't feel like. Here's another thing about the UFC I don't like. I don't like when a lot of those UFC guys say that they would beat Bruce Lee, who basically started the UFC. And the UFC doesn't pay Bruce Lee for his contribution to the sport, which I think is completely shady of these promotions. That they all should be giving the Bruce Lee family a check every month, because he basically started the sport of MMA. He started, mixed martial arts himself, basically. And they kind of, if he wouldn't have died, I think he would be Dana White. He would have started something. He would have started that himself if he wouldn't have passed away. So, for those reasons, I kind of stay away from UFC, man. I'll be honest with you. I watch it sometimes. I'm not a big fan, but I do watch it sometimes. The last real time I watched it was when Kimbo got knocked out. The way UFC fighters bounce back from tough losses and eventually rise to being a champion and a superstar is something beautiful to witness. That is, I agree with you there. I do agree with you there. There's something definitely different. They bring something different to the table than boxing does. But I don't even think you can compare the two. I don't think boxing and MMA is why I don't like when boxers and MMA fighters square up, because they are completely different sports. Never should a boxer beat an MMA fighter in an octagon, and never should a MMA fighter beat a boxer in a ring. It just shouldn't happen, because they are completely two totally different sports, two totally different arts, and I just don't mix the two at all. I don't. That's just me though. I don't see the similarities in the two sports, where some people do. I'm not that into MMA, so I probably wouldn't see the similarities. It was Keith Thurman. Him and Pacquiao went to church again. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. They said that they went to church after that fight. Oh wow, for real? Yeah. Hey, I was surprised after that too, because I heard it. I'm like, these guys, they went to church. I saw Pacquiao in church, but then I heard that Thurman went to church with him. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. You get your, but that shows you the power of Pacquiao, though, man, and his real belief in God. You know, he really a religious guy, man. You know, and that's good. That's good, man, because he could be doing a lot of other frivolous stuff. And, you know, he chooses to go with good over evil. So, that's awesome. LaCruz says, kindly assess Crawford versus assess Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz. Thanks. Man, I haven't really seen Virgil Ortiz fight live, so I don't want to speak on something I haven't seen yet. But as far as it, now I don't want to really speak on it until I watch him fight live, man. I can't speak on it. Sorry about that, man. Cruz, I just can't. I haven't watched Ortiz live, so I don't really want to give an opinion on something I really don't know about. They want to do that because he's from China. I mean, you know, communist. What do you mean by that, Pac? Barbecue exactly, Red. Bruce Lee, UFC. Straight up, man. Would be no UFC if it wasn't for Bruce. And for them not to acknowledge him or have him as a logo or, at least, give his family something for his contribution to it or even just acknowledge the man for inventing the sport is kind of weird and a little off-putting. It's really kind of off-putting to me, man. I hate the way they do people. They kind of use people's legacies, and don't acknowledge people, man. It's weak to me. After fighting Cotto, he'd gone to Mandalay for his concert. He even gave a sample in the post-fight, singing sometimes when we touch. Watch it, bro. It's funny. I've seen that already. I know what you're talking about. It's funny you brought that up, though. I've seen that already. Pac about Bruce Lee. Okay. Yeah, you're right about that, man. Okay, I see what you're saying now, Pac. But yeah, you're right about that, man. There's a lot of conspiracies surrounding Bruce Lee and the way he passed and everything, man. I don't really want to get into that. But I do feel like the UFC owes him a lot. All the mixed martial arts that came after him, all the mixed martial arts companies that got famous after Bruce Lee, they owe him a debt of gratitude, man, for what he sacrificed. Just like black boxers. It's why it's so disrespectful for Mayweather to say the stuff he says about Ali. Because they owe Ali so much for sacrificing. He wouldn't be able to make the millions he makes if it wasn't for Muhammad Ali. And then you turn around and basically spit on the man's legacy and talk down about him and talk bad about him. But like I said, once again, if Ali was in his prime, Mayweather would never say that type of stuff to his face. So, this whole new generation, man, it's very cowardly. Very cowardly lying. And people are, the new generation I would say that, man, they're very cowardly. All around. Manny Pacquiao's forever a legend, the only 8-weight champion in boxing. He a OG. OG. Straight up, bro, man. Alright, man. Y'all drop y'all last comments, man. Can I get one more like, man? Throw me one more like before we get out of here. I'm about to get out of here. I gotta find some food. And find something to do. Maybe it's find some light skins. Bond QQ, did they really go together to church? I believe so, man. I do remember hearing about that. Manny Pacquiao going to church after he fought recently, and then his opponent actually went to church with him. So I would definitely say that's pretty. I would say that's true. I can't remember exactly what fight it was, but it's one of these recent fights. It was the Broner, the Thurman. I doubt it was Broner. I don't see Broner going to church. But it was one of those fights, man. The Broner, Thurman, Matisse, one of those fights. I definitely don't think it was Matisse either, because I think Matisse was they did that in China or something somewhere. Richard Alito, yeah, they both went to church, and Thurman was the pastor at the church. Very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. All right, what we gonna end it off on, man? I think I'm gonna end it off on just everybody be patient, man. We're gonna end up getting a Pacquiao fight, man. It might not be exactly what we want, and if it don't end up being what we want, at least we still got a Pacquiao fight. But I really want to see him fight Thurman, man. I would much rather see him fight Thurman than Mikey. If the Mikey fight happens, more power to Mikey. Let's not take nothing away from Mikey. More power to Mikey. I just don't feel like he's set in stone as a welterweight great yet. Not to say he won't get there, but right now he's just not, man. Now there are better fights out there. ABC123 Red, I really like your positivity energy. It's what we need, bro. I appreciate that, man. Really, really appreciate that, man. Olito Shields became undisputed in 2 divisions versus Pac-Man's 5 linear championships. Clarissa Shields very talented, man. She might not be the best to look at, but she's a very talented lady, man. I wouldn't walk up on her and tell her I'm gonna whoop her ass. Cause I don't know her like that, man. She might knock me through the ropes. So, I say she's talented. I'm not comparing her to Pacquiao, man, in no way. If you compare her to anybody, compare her to Layla Ali, man. Keep it in context, man. They are women, and they're not gonna achieve the same things that men achieve in the boxing ring. She might actually go through 8 divisions, but she's not gonna do it the way Manny Pacquiao did it. But I will compare her more to Layla Ali. I would love to see her fight Layla Ali. I'd pay for that fight, definitely. Even though Layla Ali, I think, has been retired for like 5 or 6 or 7 years or something like that. I think she could still come back and give her a run for her money. So I would definitely love it. What do y'all think about this? End it out on that note. Who wins? Clarissa Shields versus Layla Ali, man. Who wins that fight? Who y'all got in that fight, man? If that fight happens, because she's been calling Layla Ali out too, man. She actually wants to make that fight. So I think Layla Ali might give her her first loss. Orlito, Bon Q, Red is chill dude. I got mad respect for the brother. I respect you back, bro. I respect you for coming over here defending your fighter. Saying what you gotta say, man, and standing on your own too, bro. So respect right back to you, fam. He's a pastor, really. That's interesting. I do believe Keith Thurman's in the church too. That's why I give Thurman a lot of respect, man. Thurman's a stand-up guy. Even if he did, kind of slick talk Pacquiao a little bit, with some a little bit of sideline hate about his hands, being like stones, which is a little bit like saying he's on steroids. But I got mad respect for Keith Thurman, man. He put his O on the line. He faced off against Pacquiao. He took his loss like a man, and respect to Keith Thurman. Plus, he's a positive dude, man. He does positive stuff. He's a nice guy, man. Got a good personality. So no hate, no shade to the OG Keith Thurman. Hope to see him get back in the ring, man, real soon. GT, haha. Yeah, fam. Thurman always been a pastor. He been baptizing all them fires. PAC, who Canelo, who Shields? You silly, man. PAC, don't worry. Pac-Man daughter will beat Shields. She might be too short, man. His daughters, they like Pacquiao. They real short, man. It would be interesting if one of his daughters did start fighting, like his son wants to fight. And what if one of the daughters became, a super successful boxer, and the sons didn't become super successful? How ironic would that be if the daughters became successful in boxing and the sons didn't? That would be kind of ironic, don't you think? Crawford is the legacy fight, or you guys where a belt is at stake, while Garcia's fight is pointless. Man, I agree with you, bro. Thurman also played flute. Yeah, and I seen him playing the flute one day, man, in the park, and I'm like, man, this guy is gonna get destroyed by Pacquiao. I see him smoking a joint, and then he start playing the flute, and I'm like, this guy. That's what made me say he's not gonna win that fight. To be completely honest with you, I saw him smoking, and then I seen him playing the flute, and I'm like, ain't no way this guy's about to beat Ain't no flute playing hippie about to beat no Manny Pacquiao's. I just play it though, but I respect the Keith Thurman, man. If that's what he like to do, play the flute and get toasted, man. Respect to you, man. Do your thing. He's still a great fighter. He's just not on Pacquiao's level. Let's put it that way. He ain't on Pacquiao's level. If Manny well, I don't know what you mean by that. Thurman is a respectable fighter. I like Thurman, man, straight up. If Manny wants legacy fight for the undisputed Crawford and Spence. And I think I'm going to end it there. If ain't nobody going to say nothing about the Clarissa Shields, Layla Ali fight, who they got, man, I'm going to end it there, man. Hope to see y'all again tomorrow. Had fun with this. We did about 2 hours. This was interesting, man. I think everybody got to say their piece. And this was a great conversation. Yeah, that cracked me up too when I saw Thurman playing the flute. First time seeing a boxer. It wasn't just the flute though. It was he's like sitting in the park, like with his legs crossed, smoking a joint and playing the flute. And I'm like, there's no way. Ain't no way this dude is about to beat Manny Pacquiao no boxing ring. Not to say the flute is why he lost, but the flute might be why he lost. I'm just playing, man. Keith Thurman, continue to smoke your weed and play your flute, man. Do what you do. Do what makes you happy, Thurman. Thurman is Pacquiao's newest. That's got to be a thing to say. Grandmaster flute. But I can't lie, he was jamming out with his little flute though. You know, he was doing his flute, he was fluting it up, man. So, hey, you know, respect to Keith Thurman. He's the flute master. He's, you know, Thurman can rap and Keith Thurman can play the flute. So if they had a versus battle, it's gonna be the weirdest versus battle you've ever seen in your life. Cause Broner's gonna be rapping some real gangster-ish, and Thurman's gonna be fluting him to death. So. Who y'all got in the Broner versus Thurman versus battle? Who y'all got? That's the last question of the day. Then we gonna rock out the keys, and I'm out of here, man. Who y'all got in the versus battle? Thurman versus Broner. Does Thurman's flute beat Broner's rapping? What happened to the investors of Manny versus Crawford? Arum is the scam. We talked about that earlier, man. You got to DVR it, man. Just DVR back to the beginning, and you'll find out the answer to that. Mike Tyson versus Mayweather exhibition. They're both into that thing. Why don't give it a try against each other? Man, the weights are way too off for that. They're way too off. Man, Mike Tyson would kill Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring. He might have a flashback. We definitely don't want to see Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather get in the ring at the same time, because Tyson would definitely have a flashback and probably put Mayweather in a coma. We don't want to see Mayweather go in a coma. AB and Thurman are friends. Broner, because he's a samurai warrior, just like Chris. Oh man, I'm telling you, Broner got bars, man. He gonna come with them bars, and Thurman gonna be playing the bar. All right, y'all, man. Thurman secretly what did you say? Dissipates about. Balance. He's working on his flexibility. You've heard that, man. Y'all silly, man. Thurman will beat Broner by DQ as he'll pull his new pony. I thought he cut the ponytail off. I thought he got rid of it though. After after his defeat to Pacquiao, Thurman is out there in the cold, dark, playing the flute, out there playing the flute by himself. Man, y'all silly, man. All right, man, we're gonna jam out the keys. I'm done for the day. I got a headache with laughing. I'm hungry, and I need a light skin in my life. So, y'all jam out the keys, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Continue to smash that like button, support the channel, man. And I'll support y'all in the same way y'all support me. We are out of here.
Louisville, home of the best scrapper, also home of the best rapper. Flow dapper, here's another chapter. Ride through, attack you, ride away your laughter. This is what I'm after, blowing on that rapper. Purple Dro, keep a bunch to blow. I don't serve it though, murder flow. If it goes down, I'm the first to know. Y'all niggas late, like the Conan show. Overdose, overload, sharp flow, leaving with the open throat. Lewis Keys, cool as Nova Scotia snow. Puff a blunt, poke a hole, nigga, you supposed to know. Lewis Keys, blowing blunts on the open road. Fuck a cop, fuck a speed limit, drive overdose. Keep a bad bitch, hips wide like Oprah's nose. And you know that I'm a fool, my freestyle's wet, I'm floating in the pool. You should pay your tuition, you're going to my school. Principal keys, you niggas getting held back. Fuck them little sacks, you can have your bread back. No refund, well here the G's come. Hit your ass up, leave you with your fucking head crack.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. That's where I'm from, player, how about you? I'm from the city where the hate is familiar. I'm from the city where the haters will kill ya. I'm from the city where they like to gamble. Dice game, get robbed, niggas to scramble. Head for the hills, nigga, duck and dive. No bullshit, no shuck and jive. I know a lot of guys got shot and died. A lot of good guys didn't see 25. Recognize it's a blessing being alive. Heading to the park, I'm on the passenger side. Like
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502.
every day the Super Bowl. Every night's game 7. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like game 7. Game 7. Every day the Super Bowl. Every night's game 7. We ballin' like the playoff. I walk in with my homie. Walk out with your baby mama's home key. I can tell she want it. Fat booty, so you know a nigga own it. I'm such a OG. Last time I checked, my verses were for OZ. In the street. Plus I got caught up with the beats. And I'm still spitting that heat. KY is in for a treat. The club looking for a freak. Hope they don't call the police. Every day the Super Bowl. Every day's a Super Bowl. Every night's game 7. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like the playoff. We ballin' like game 7. Game 7. Every day the Super Bowl.
on, she got bills to pay. She about to take you home, cause she got bills to pay. She about to let you fuck, cause she got bills to pay. She's about to set you up, cause she got bills to pay. And the whole team pop up, cause she got bills to pay. Stealing out the other strippers' lockers, cause she got bills to pay. 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 Plug don't give a fuck if I got bills to pay.